Hey comic book fans, welcome to the Comic Fix, your one-stop shop for every single thing DC Comics, to some creator-owned, to a little bit Marvel. My name's David, and welcome to the Comic Fix. Alright, so in this video, I am going to be doing my Image comics that I got this week, and my Marvel. So, let's just hit it off with a book that I have never heard of, but I saw it on my comic stands, and I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. Because I was buying everything else that there was anyways, and that is The Great Pacific, issue number 1. Now, one thing with Image is that when they have a new number 1 and they want to just promote it a lot, they have the first issue be almost like a double issue type of book. And that's what you get here, just like you did with Saga. So, in here, we start out and we see this satellite, a government satellite, looking upon this little junk pile in the middle of the ocean that is just as big as Texas. And what are they looking for? Well, they're looking for our main person in this book, Chance. Is it Chas or... Yeah, I think it's Chas, because in there they spell it C-H-A-S, and always when I saw C-H-A-S, I always see an E on the end and just Chase. But anyways, so we see our main person, Chas, and he's just... We don't know what happened to him. And then he wakes up to find this weird looking bird. And where he is in this junk pile. And it's just beautiful to see Martin Morazzo. I think that's his name. Sorry if I butchered it. But his artwork in here is really, really freaking good. I really like this art. I just like the way the sky looks and just the garbage that's all around. It just has a really cool beauty to it. And the colors and the artists are definitely working very well together. Could you imagine just waking up and seeing this two-headed bird and just being like, where the hell am I? And then the writer takes us to the about 2 weeks before the events that behold in the first couple of pages, and we get to know Chas. And what we see about him is that he's a 14-year-old guy. He has been bestowed an oil dynasty. His father just passed away, and he's basically just wants to prove himself as a man. So what is he doing? Well, he's going to Kenya to go and hunt with these tribal men just to prove how much of a man he is. And first off, I just want to say again, look at that art. I really do enjoy the artist in this book. And then you just see him, he's going hunting, all this stuff, and then he finally comes upon the lion. And I just love how scared he looks in this thing. He's just like, oh my god, I am going to die right here, right now. And eventually he does get saved. And I just love that look of disappointment of, not of the situation he was put into, but of himself. Because you can just tell right away, he's a guy that wants to prove himself. That he's not a guy that's going to be, everything's going to be handed to him. He wants to do it for himself and prove himself as a man. So it's definitely a coming of age story in this book. And then we get a part in there where Chas is finally done with the hunting party, and he's going to go off and go do whatever he wants to do because he is a billionaire after all. And one of the tribalsmen, or the boy, wants to give him a token of their appreciation, and it's the lion's pelt. And this is the point where I was just like, wow, I really don't like Chance as much. Is that there's a point in there where the boy, he gives him the lion's pelt and just says, this is a token of our appreciation for what you did. You brought some medicine to us, and you're just making our lives better. Here you go. And what does Chance do? He just goes and gives it back to the boy. And he's like, I don't want it. And you just look at the disappointment on the boy's face when he does that. It's just like, what an asshole. I mean, these guys, everything about a gift is just so personal to them. But us in America, when we give a gift, it's not as personal. But over in Kenya and over in any other country, a gift is just signifies a friendship of everything. And if you just throw it in their face, that's just like pointing their middle finger at you. And I just love the look of just like the way that the boy is just looking at him as Chance is flying up into the air. It makes you sad for what this boy just got thrown into his face. And you notice that Chance never looks back. He just goes and does like this kind of like monologue type of thing that nothing's ever given to you, and I'm gonna build it myself, and no one's ever gonna give me anything for it. And what I leave behind in my work is what I want people remember me by. So what I get the sense is he's just an asshole. And then you move on to the board, and the board of directors of this oil empire doesn't like Chance. They know that he's just a punk kid who's been given the keys to the throne, and they want him gone. What happened before the father died, is that the father, right before his deathbed, he basically opened up his company to people to buy out the stocks. So there is a board in there, and they're basically running the empire as the chosen son is going around and just goofing off all the time, trying to prove himself as a man. And what is he doing to try to prove himself as a man and try to get his name known, and for doing something very noble, is that he wants to build this machine that will take all the garbage and just make it into consumable energy, and just something that could clean up oil spills when they happen. And it's very noble. But the way he's going about it, you're like, wow, you're an asshole. You're a big asshole. And I just love it, though, that he wants to do the right thing. And that's why you get the sense out of it. And I love the point throughout the book, you're just seeing him as this asshole kid until he goes and sees his uncle. Now, when he goes and sees his uncle, this is when you get the true him coming out. And how he's not just this selfish, self-centered kid. He actually wants to just prove himself as a man and be the man that his father always wanted him to be. And I'm just liking the story more and more. But the thing is, though, is that Chas knows that he cannot go to the board and say, I need you guys to fund all this stuff. Help me fund my project. So what does he do? He basically, to get away from it all, he hires his friend to help him fake his death. And it was just so cool to see this part. I just love this panel right here of having a card for a banquet, and Chas just basically just tossing out. I just like the way how this whole panel goes. And then you see the clink clink as somebody's coming up to get Chas. And you just see this ninja guy just coming at him. And I just love this whole scene. It's just like, man, it reminded me a little bit of the movie Watchmen, just that opening scene with the comedian. And then you got my favorite part of this whole entire book. At the end of it, you got the board members getting the news that Chas has been killed. And what did they do? One of the guys looks at the head chair member and says to him, did we do that? And all the people in there started to laugh. And I just love this scene. And I love it where the head chairman just looks at the person that's writing all the notes about what happened in the meeting. And she just looks at him, or he just looks at her and just is like, I want that noted that it was just a dark joke. So I just like the characterization of everybody in here. You definitely see where there's going to be growing throughout the whole entire series. And this is going to be a fun series. The artwork in here is beautiful. I hope that one thing I like about Image is that when a team come together, they usually stay on the book for quite a while, unlike in the big two in DC and Marvel, where they have to shovel out books every single month, and the artists sometimes can't keep up, so they got different artists coming on. One thing I like about Image is that when a book comes out, it's usually always the same artist and the same writer. So I like that type of stuff about the stories. And it's just a fun book, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. Because I don't know what happened to Chas when we found him in the beginning of the book, because all we see in the end is just him going off in an airplane being like, what's going to happen? So, very good book. I really did enjoy it. It's definitely 4 out of 5. There was really nothing wrong with the book. I like the character moments in this whole entire book, and I like the coming of age story where a kid was handed the keys to the throne, and he's trying to find his way in the world. So I really like this book. 4 out of 5. Go pick it up. I mean, Image has been doing so well. I've enjoyed almost every single Image book that I've got my hands on, and they're just so damn good stuff there. Now, second book is Saga, issue number 7. I've been waiting for this book for 3 months. It's been on hiatus, not because of... It was a planned hiatus, you know. They wanted Fiona Staples to get caught up. And I just love that about this book. Fiona Staples, damn, I love her art. She's going to be doing an issue of, or a cover for Superman. I think it's Superman. Oh no, Action Comics, issue number 17, the last Grant Morrison issue. And she's going to be doing a special cover for it. And I saw the cover online. I was just like, oh, I have to buy this one. Even though I know in my comic shop, those alternate covers are $14, I'm definitely going to buy the Fiona Staples one. Because I just like her so much. So we start the issue where Hazel is just telling us a little bit about her father. And I just love just the opening scene. It's just so adorable, just of a little boy and his dog. Just being like, free in the wind. I just like how, just with the flower just going off in the wind, it's just telling you that there's a change of direction about to happen. But it's a very happy moment also. I just love that moment. And then you get the parents. And I love it when the mother calls for Marco, and it's just a look of discontent and just of a boy that's not really happy to see his parents. And we learn why. Is that when the parents want to show them what happened to them on their home planet and why I forget what species they are, why they're so evil. So they use the magic to show them the last battle that was fought on this field, to show the son how bad the winged people actually are. And it's just like, wow. Could you imagine just showing... I can't imagine Marco being more than 7 years old, 8 years old in this thing, and just to show him the real world so soon, and to take away his childhood. That's what I see here, is that Marco's childhood is getting taken away right at this moment. And that's what I meant by the winds are about to change in the first panel. And you just see the anger that comes on Marco's face just from seeing these images. And I could not imagine showing your 7-year-old son that. And then we jump to the now, where we see Elena meeting her father-in-law and mother-in-law. And I just love, you just imagine just going to somebody and meeting the mother-in-law and father-in-law for the very first time. I'm not married, so I don't even know what that would feel like. But I bet it will feel something like this, where you're just like, oh my god, they don't like me. They don't like me from the get-go, right when they see me. Well, what happened before this issue is that the ghost, I forget her name, the ghost of the group, she basically got zapped and got teleported down to the nearest planet. And so it's up to Marco and Marco's mother to go and find the ghost and bring her back onto the ship. And I just love it though, that in this whole entire part, you've been seeing the mother being the very strict one, the one that's always doing the different. It seems like the father's the more loving, caring one, and the mother's the hard ass of the group. But I love when Marco finally sees that his mother followed him and just looks at her and just being like, you left her alone with him? And just the scare on his face just tells you everything. Just like, you left him alone with him? And I'm just thinking, I was like, did they just do a switcheroo where we were supposed to see the mother as the hard ass one, but in truth it's actually the father? I just like that part. And I just like the father or the grandfather just being like, trying to get some questions on who Elena actually is and what is her relationship with her son. What did she put over her son or his son? And I just love the emotion that just comes from this page. And then eventually the ship does help out Elena by getting the grandfather and getting them all tied up. I just like this whole entire book. The relationship, the way that everyone interacts with each other. It's really breathtaking. And you just can't stop just like turning every single page. And reading this book reminds me a lot of reading Ultimate Spider-Man. When I first got into comics, the first book I ever read was in trade was Ultimate Spider-Man. And I was reading that, and it just went by so quick. And that's the same here. You don't feel like you're cheated from anything. You just want the next issue right away. And that's what you get here. You get some great characterization and one disgusting image that I'm not even going to show you here. It's just like, ugh. I mean, there's been some disgusting images in this whole entire series that this one here in this issue just takes the cake. I'm not even going to show you because I don't want to show you the horrors that I had to see in this book. And then we actually do get a kind of one page where we kind of get where are the other characters, like the Robot Prince and the Will. And I'm not going to show you the Robot Prince one because it's right next to the picture with the really horrifying giant. But I just like this point. It just gives you like a little couple seconds just to show you, hey, this is where this person's at. And we get the revelation that Marco's father has only 3 months to live. And what is going to become of that, I don't know. I'm really excited for the next issue. This issue was just more of a where are they now and where do we go from here type of issue. It's a very transitional issue. If you're looking for a big old action, you're not going to get that in this book. But you're going to get some great character moments. And go and pick up Volume 1. It's only $10. And then go and pick up this issue. And you will not be disappointed. Saga is one of the strongest series out there right now. So, in the end, Saga, issue number 7, will get a 3.5 out of 5. Just because it didn't have that oh my god moment, but definitely did have those great character moments. And don't think a 3.5 is bad by any means. This book was just definitely not as good as the other issues, but it's definitely building up for another great 6 issues of Saga. Because what I think that they're going to do is that they're going to do either 6 or 8 issues, and then once that's done, they're going to take another 3-month hiatus, let the volume come out, and let people get caught up, and then 3 months later down the road, they'll come out with more stuff. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, you guys have become my all-time favorite comic right now in Saga. Your writing's awesome. Your character moments are just fantastic. Your artwork is just beyond beautiful. Everybody, if you're not picking up Saga, go pick it up. I mean, why would you say you're a comic book fan and not pick up Saga? Okay, now that I'm done with that one, and it was just, oh, so good. I got Fantastic Four, issue number 1. Now, I got onto Fantastic Four a little bit late. I got into about 10 issues into Jonathan Hickman's run. I was really enjoying it. But there were some things where I was a little lost because some characters, some side characters were in there. And you get some of that in here. So we start at the issue with Franklin just crying for his mother. And what comes in to soothe the little kid is mom bots. I mean, when I saw the mom bots, I couldn't help but to smile and be like, I'm definitely in a Fantastic Four book. And there's just something about the fun moments in the Fantastic Four that make it worth reading. And just moments like this where you see Franklin crying, and then the mom bots come in, and Franklin's just like, I don't want you, I want my real mom. Some great stuff. And then we see the Fantastic Four in the past, in the dinosaur age, and they're stuck in a mouth of a dinosaur. And you see in here, Reed Richards has been really injured. And with this scene, Matt Fraction is definitely taking the time to show the voice that he has for the characters, and I really like it. I really like the way he has Johnny Storm, just being like, I did not get us in this situation. I'm not the one to blame for this situation. Don't blame me for this situation. And I just love how you're rating or just saying that over and over again. And then you got the Thing just being like, shut the hell up. And I just like those scenes. You definitely can tell that Matt Fraction definitely has the voice for the characters. And then they use a teleporter to get back into the now. And they ruin breakfast. And you're just seeing all these characters and just like, this definitely is a family book. And I just like the opening tone that Matt Fraction is putting out in this book. And you got Mark Bagley on as art. Now, as I said, I read Ultimate Spider-Man. And I loved Mark Bagley's art. Then I saw him in some other series. And he's never the bread and butter of the series. He's always... If he's on with a good writer, his art's good. But if he's on with the... writer, like how he was with the Trinity for DC Comics, which is a bland book. But you definitely tell that Matt Fraction and him are working very well together, and this is going to be a very good team up. And then we see them, the whole entire family, just eating our lunch or breakfast or whatever. And then Reed Richards. One thing about Reed Richards that I really like is that he can be in a talking with somebody, and then all of a sudden he gets an idea, and he'll just go off and not tell somebody goodbye, or just be in mid-sentence and just leave. And what does he do? He's trying to figure out what happened to his arm, because his arm is not healing up, and everything is just feeling so wrong. And then he finds out that his cellular level is basically breaking down, and he doesn't know what's going to happen to him next. He knows his cell's not healing, and that eventually these powers that he has are going to kill him. So he definitely gets a sense of wanting to bring the family together and to try to figure out how to help himself and to help the other Fantastic Four members, because this may happen to them. And then we got Matt Fraction going and trying to set what the other characters are doing. We got Johnny Storm on his date. And one thing I like about this whole entire scene is that Johnny Storm shows her a ring box. And it's looking like Johnny Storm's going to propose to her. And then he opens up the box, and the look on her face, you're just like, did he really? Really just do that? Well, no. He gives her actually the number, says, this is my direct line. And so now you can call me whatever you want. I really like that scene. I was just like, that was really, really freaking funny. And then you see all these warring people going on down here, and just like, is that really where you want to take the girl for a date? And then you got where's the Thing right now, and he's on trying to take down this Fight Club thing in one of his gyms or whatnot. And that scene in there was a little bit funny, but it was just like, felt like fluff. There was definitely quite a bit of fluff in this issue. So eventually, in the end, Mr. Fantastic figures out that he needs to go and travel the universe to try to figure out how to help himself, how to heal himself, how to get his cells to regenerate. So he decides to take all the children on just a fantasy ride around the galaxy in this time machine. And what happens is that Sue Storm says to him, we need to have somebody here in the now to take our spot. So what do we get? We get the FF book. That's going to be happening with, I think, She-Hulk, Ant-Man, or, yeah, I'm not sure who the other guys are. But we're definitely going to be getting the FF books, and we get the prologue kind of to the FF book. And I just like this book. The family elements in there are very nice. The art in here is just as nice as, but it's never over and beyond what Mark Bagley can actually do. It seems like Mark Bagley's not trying to push the boundaries in his issue. But what we get in here is just some good character development and just good setup for everything else. So, if you're interested in the Fantastic Four, pick this book up. It's $2.99, but it's definitely not a book that's going to wow you as much as Jonathan Hickman's run. And with Matt Fraction coming on after Jonathan Hickman, I do think if he went for the awesome fantasy epic right off the bat, everyone would look at him and be like, dude, you're just doing what Jonathan Hickman did. But he just went with the undertone. just to put in there the family elements. And I hope you guys are enjoying the football game that I have on there, because I was just like, I need to watch the football game and talk about my comics at the same time. So I'm kind of watching the football game as I'm talking. So it's a good series. I'm going to give this one a 2.5 out of 5. There was just never that moment that just made you go, this is really good, or this is a little bit beyond the top. It kind of was status quo and him just trying to set the tone for the book series that he's going to be telling, or the run he's going to be telling. So 2.5 out of 5. Whew, we got 2 more books. So my next book is a book that I was not originally going to pick up. I mean, I don't really read a Thor book, or I've never read Thor, but I saw the art and I was just like, wow. And then I saw some early reviews and everyone was giving it 4 or 5 stars. And one thing, Marvel or DC, if you guys actually do those reviews or give them early copies, I bet you'll sell a lot more, because that's what happened with me. I was on the fence with Thor, and then I saw the reviews and I was like, I'm gonna go pick this book up. So we start out the issue with a young Thor. This is back in 893 AD. And we see Thor just enjoying himself. He just slaughtered these ice giants, and he just enjoying himself. He's having sex with women, drinking all the ale he wants. But then he hears a scream outside. He goes outside to go and see what happened. They find a head. And the head is the head of a god. And just the horror that's on this god just scares the living hell out of Thor. Just look at that eyes on him. He has never seen this before. And one thing I did not know about the Marvel Universe is that the gods are more like interdimensional beings, and that no matter who you worship as a god, they are there. And so I like that whole element. And you got the Indian god just with fear in his eyes, just being like, what the hell happened? And I love that everyone can sense on Thor that he is disturbed by what he has seen. But in the young youth of Thor, he was just like, I'm going to go and I'm going to go find out who did this, and I'm going to go kill him. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. And I just like that whole element where you just feel that this is a younger Thor. And then we go into the now, or the present day, with an alien race who hasn't had rain for so long. Well, one of the females decides to pray to Thor. And this is where I saw a different Thor than I've ever seen before. And that this Thor felt very much like a god. And basically you see him come down in thunder, hence God of Thunder, and bring rain. Now I like it though. After he is done doing what he did, he basically tells the people, the alien race, okay, I'm going to go now. Going to go do whatever I need to do. And then one of them says something about ale, and he hears the word ale. He kind of turns his head and he's like, ale, you say? And then they start the whole thing over again. Thor is having a good time telling stories about Asgard and about every adventure he's had. And at the end of it, as everyone's going to sleep, he basically goes to the girl and basically tells him, you know, have a great night, you know, just, I hope everything goes well for you guys. And an old elder comes by and basically tells him a story about how they have no gods, but there is a story from a long, long time ago of these beings that lived up in the sky, but they haven't been seen for so long. So Thor goes to go and figure out and finds out that there actually is a place up in the sky. So he's going and hunting around, and he finds nothing. No signs of battle, nothing. Just silence. And I just like this mystery that's going on. And then you see this chain. As Thor's about to leave, he sees this chain on this door. He goes and breaks down the chain. And what he finds, again, just puts horror on his face as he sees these gods just butchered and just hung up like dry meat. Some scary stuff. It's just like, wow. I like the tone that this book is going for, especially with the art and with Jason Aaron's writing, it's a cool mystery, and it's just setting up so well. And then after that, we go into the future with an older Thor who is about to go and do battle with the person that's been butchering the gods, called the God Butcher. And you're just like, okay, this book is really freaking good. The art in here is great. The setup for this series is really good. What they're doing is they're kind of doing the thing where they're setting up the bad guy for whoever knows how many issues. It kind of reminds me of what they did in Heroes, where in Heroes, the first season, the bad guy was cutting off people's heads that had special abilities and basically eating their brain. I think that was how it was going. But anyways, they were setting him up so much, and then when you saw him, you had this instant fear in yourself. And that's what we get here. Just set up for this God Butcherer. And it's so cool, though, to see how this Thor book feels so much different than a Thor I've ever read before. Because the only Thor I ever read was in the Avengers books from Stan Lee's days, and some from when they had the Secret Invasion. But this Thor feels really interesting, really new reader friendly, where a new reader could come in and be like, I know what's going on, and I'm just going to enjoy the ride. Also, this book feels like it's kind of taking the approach that Brian Azzarello is doing with Wonder Woman, where Brian Azzarello took Wonder Woman and is like, okay, we're going to have her away from the DC universe, have her dealing with the gods, and have her just doing her own adventure, not tying in at all with anything that's going on anywhere else in DC universe. And I'm going to tell my own story. And that's what I feel like Jason Aaron's doing here. This series, or this issue, was amazing. Definitely worth picking up. It's $3.99, but it's one of those $3.99 books that you're going to get all your money's worth and more. So in the end, I'm going to give Thor issue number 1 a 4 out of 5. And it's surprising, though, because I'm not a big Marvel guy. But I thought with Marvel now, I would give it a try to see how I like it. And the books that I really liked are the books I didn't expect to like. I knew I liked Fantastic Four because they're one of my favorite family superheroes. They feel so different than all the other comic books out there. Thor, had no interest, but I decided to pick it up. Deadpool, never thought to look into it. I just thought he was just an overhyped type of character. Read that issue number 1 in Marvel Now. Enjoyed the hell out of it. And one series that I'm just so hesitant to get into is the X-Men series, because it's just all that continuity in there, and it just feels like a jumbled mess. But I decided to pick up All New X-Men issue number 1, because I kind of got the gist what happened in AVX and AVX Consequences. So we start out the issue in a very tragic way. Basically, we got Beast, whose mutation is killing him. That his heart's racing so fast he's about to have a heart attack, and that this new mutation in him is definitely gonna kill him. And I just love the scene where he's just praying, just saying, I'm not gonna kill myself, but I need to figure out how to save myself as well. And then we got after that scene, we get these 2 girls just looking to have a good time. They basically go and see this boy, and they start talking to him. And one of the girl's brothers comes in. Now, when you see the girl's brother, he's without a shirt, and you're just like, what the hell is this? I mean, do you really go to a party or whatnot without a shirt? Yes, you are buff as hell, but dude, you're just a douche. And just seeing this guy is just like, wow. This is very unoriginal and just kind of dumb. Just to see this brother just going and beating up on this guy just for talking to his sister. And just, it feels very juvenile as well. Well, she sees all this hell going on and her guy that she was talking to getting beat up. And a mutation, her mutant powers start to show itself. And basically what she does is that she freezes everything around her. And I just love the fear that's on her face at this moment. Just being like, oh my god. And who comes to help her out but Scott Summers and the X-Men. And I actually like the scene where, they were just like, hey, we're going to help you out. no one else will. And as he feels just like Magneto, and I just like how Magneto's actually on the team, but he's actually taking a side seat and letting Scott Summers do all the dirty work, and it feels like that Scott Summers is Magneto's protege, and the Master's letting his protege take reign. So basically what happens is Scott Summers tells her to take down the bubble, or take down the stuff that's freezing everybody, and we'll help you with the army guys that are all around you, because everyone's been frozen for more than 20 hours. And I just love the moment where everything goes back to normal. Scott Summers and them are gone, and she just thinks that she's all alone yet again. But nope. They come, they get in their pose, and they start to kick ass. Now, this definitely feels like there's a lot of poses in there, kind of like how you would see with the Jim Lee. So, that was okay. I mean, the art in here is not wowing me. The writing at this point is not wowing me. It just feels like more setup than anything. And just seeing how evil Scott Summers is. And you see the X-Men just looking upon what Scott Summers is doing on television, being like, what the hell went wrong? And then we see some more backup where we see another mutant who just had their mutant powers just show itself, and the government basically taking them in. And again, we see Scott Summers, Cyclops, basically freeing this new mutant. And then the stupidest scene happens, where we got Cyclops going in and basically telling everybody, hey, we're the X-Men, if you're immune, we're going to help you. And then, bam, he does this pose. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm hardcore. I'm something out of a wrestling thing. And it's just like, really? You get done with this speech and then you're like, huh. Really? That is just dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. I mean, I was just like, what the hell is wrong with this image? I just stopped and I was just like, this is dumb. And we got the X-Men just doodling around and being like, okay, we gotta stop Scott Summers. We gotta stop Scott Summers. And why the hell is it taking them so long? Magneto, take them, bam. Okay, they're there in an instant. Where the X-Men group at the Jeans Grey School of Higher Learning are basically just taking their time to get the X-Jet. And then Beast gets the awesome idea to actually use a time machine to go back in time to tell the original X-Men. And this is where I liked it, because I've been reading Stan Lee's the big old first volume of X-Men, and I remember reading this issue just the other day, where you got Beast and I think it was Iceman were just basically attacked just by walking down the street. And Beast basically tells Cyclops, hey, I think Magneto's ways are right, and you know, your ideals of everything that Xavier's school means has nothing to do with me, and I think that Magneto's ways are always right. And then you got Beast coming in there at the perfect moment, and you don't know what's going to happen, because basically Beast tells the group, hey, we need you to come and stop Cyclops from committing mass genocide. And it's going to be interesting when they go into the now and to see where Beast goes, because I think Beast, the future, or the past Beast, is actually going to go with Magneto and Cyclops. So I think it's just going to be a big old split between the group. It's going to be really cool. I think the next issue, which comes out I think in 2 weeks, it's going to be a lot better than this issue. This issue was a lot of just setting up who is Scott Summers and what is his mission, and basically the other X-Men just walking to the jet. That's all it was. And one thing I really do hate is that in the previews for the all new X-Men, the last page of the book is literally the preview. The preview is this page, the last 3 pages. I have never seen a movie do that. Well, yes, I have. Trailers do it all the time. But I just hate it where the preview just ruins the end of the book. Because I really thought that that was the beginning of the book, but it came out to be the end. So, in the end, I'm going to give All New X-Men issue number 1 just a 2 out of 5. It had okay art. Really strange character moments, especially. And I was just like, really, dude? Really? I mean, you would, it's like just doing like something like this, but dumb. So, this is it for this video. In my next video, I'm going to be doing the Bat books and started with my DC Comics. So, look forward to that. This is Dave from the Comic Fix, and I'll see you guys next time.